Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Another episode. 10. We're on episode 10 here. Hold on, I gotta tweet it out. Quote tweet going live now. There we go. Actually gotta copy some notes from my Twitter. I need a better notes application because I just copy them straight from my Twitter. I should really find something better than that. Like Evernote. Never really stuck with me. I don't know. But welcome. We'll get going in a couple minutes here. Oh shoot, dude, I wasn't even prepared for this. I gotta open up Premiere. I'm glad I started this a couple minutes early. I gotta get stuff in order. Happy Wednesday, May 12th to you guys. I'm going to try to render this. Hopefully it doesn't kill the stream. We'll see how good my computer is when it renders footage while also trying to stream. I'm really putting my bandwidth to the test. Or not bandwidth, processing power. Happy Wednesday. How are you guys' Wednesdays going? Had Let's Toast Media in here. Said, let's go. Good to have him back. Let's move this. Test this real quick. All right. There we go. Got him pushing a truck. That's always fun. What a behemoth of a man. I'm going to say that a ton. I feel like this entire time, he's just a monster, right? 6'7.5", 6'8". Crazy. You guys hear me okay? Seems like it's coming through all right. Got the music a little quieter today. Let me see if I can bump that up a little bit. Don't want to blast you guys with music, but some music's okay. All right, it's 8:30. Let's go. All right, today, episode 10, Tristan Bounds. If you didn't watch, I had an episode posted on Amazing Brew earlier today. Link is right there. I urge you to go check that out if you want more information about this behemoth of a man. So he's within the top 500 nationally, 416, 35 offensive tackle, number 2 in Connecticut. Monster of a guy, 6'8", so he's a true tackle. If he's not a tackle, I don't know what he's going to be. He's listed at 285. If you go over to his official Michigan roster, he's listed at 305. So he's out of Virginia, but he transferred to Connecticut for his senior year. Senior year was canceled due to COVID. So we won't have any senior film. Kind of the norm for a lot of these guys, don't really have senior film. But we do have junior film. We do have some other stuff to work with. Okay, let's go through. Actually, give me one second here. Let me pop on this light. There we go. It got dark outside. So maybe this light will help. Yeah, a little bit. All right, so looking at his offers here, thing I like the most about this, you got Princeton, right? You got Yale. You have Dartmouth. So a high academic guy. So I like this just because you get a guy with such a high floor in academics. He's going to be able to hack it academically. and that's just something where it's one less hurdle, right? For him to get up to speed, he's not likely to be one because of these offers. It shows his academic prestige. Also has Duke, Georgia Tech. Those are some other high academic programs that likely wouldn't offer if they didn't think you could cut it. Not always the case, but you know what I mean. Okay, so let's watch some film. Von Lozon. What's more likely, you beat Jordan Phillips in rock climbing or Tristan Bounds in moving a car? I think I could beat Jordan Phillips in rock climbing. Speaking of the car, let's get to his footage here. It's going to be a quick one when it comes to footage. He only had about 5 minutes on his highlights, which is kind of crazy. But here he is pushing. You can't really call this a truck. I guess it's a SUV, but it's a big one, right? And he's just pushing it. He's just in a parking lot, just shoving a car. There's got a guy in there. So that's really funny to me. That is just there. All right, let's get into his film. Let me pull up my pen tool. I'll show you guys how the pen tool works. Let's bring it over here. We shift to this. What color do we want the offense to be? Let's make them like this red, right? They kind of got this red. Then we'll make opponents yellow. How about that? Oops, there we go. All right, move this off screen, and here we go. I already missed where he was. Where was he? They already pointed him out, didn't they? Okay, left tackle. So yeah, just look for the tallest guy, and that's likely him. So he's pretty raw, right? Like right off the bat here, it's hard for him to stay low, but I mean he's got such a great frame, right? Like not only is he tall, his arms are huge. Good footwork, good base overall. Yeah, I mean he just looks like a guy who just needs to add 30 pounds. 30, 40 pounds. I mean, he lets this guy get inside a little bit, so he has to work on his punch a little bit, right? He's notice how his hands, he's trying to like catch the defender here. I mean, the guy's tiny, right? So what are we really going to gather from this? You know, he doesn't really have like a great kick step here, but he doesn't need to as much with that giant frame. So we're looking more for like, where is there a good defender that he'll go up against? And there's not a whole lot here. You know, would like to see him get a little bit more in front of this guy. He's trying to get in front of him here. He kind of gets off to the side. So I'd like to see him get a little bit more in front. Doesn't, but that's going to be another thing where guys are going to be able to go down, like cut inside of him. That sounds weird, but like cut to the inside shoulder across his face. And because of his frame, it's going to be really hard for him to get under those guys. Guys with really good dip, it's going to be really difficult to for him to get under those guys, especially at this level. So here, dealing with a little bit of a better athlete there. Good job, hands inside. I like his athleticism overall. I think that's something that stands out a ton, his athleticism. He has to work on his explosiveness a little bit. You can see him working to the second level here. He just needs to work on exploding through his hips here. You know, he doesn't really have great handwork here. If he can deliver a punch to go with this, that'd be really great. But he's just huge. Oh, damn it. I forgot to not shrink myself. My bad. Let me go back a couple plays here. Which one couldn't you have seen? Probably this one. Probably one of these. We'll just go through these again. My bad, Von. Thank you for that. But yeah, he doesn't have like a great punch. And that's the biggest thing I see. I mean, his footwork, man, this is just in the face of the sun. This this highlight film is. What am I even looking for here? Okay. I mean, he's athletic. He's just a guy that just oozes potential, right? One of the few linemen that Michigan took in this class that just has an astronomical ceiling. But his hands are the first thing that really just need to sync up with his footwork. right? I mean, he's so tall, it's going to be hard to get under guys, but if he can really deliver a punch, he kind of looks like a gazelle, right? Trying to learn how to walk. Looks like he's just trying to figure out how to block still, where it's like he's not really delivering a punch. He's just using that giant frame. He has decent footwork, right? That athleticism will get him a really long way at this level. It's just a matter of putting that together with his timing, right? Right here, his hands and his feet are not working in conjunction together. He's not really loading up. There's no compression of his body, explosion through the hands there. He's just kind of reaching, accepting, and then just using his giant frame there to bend a little bit as the play develops. So again, I mean, he played in Virginia and then went to Connecticut. There's not a whole lot you can expect in terms of him getting coached up really at a high level, and that's why his potential is just so high, right? Because if he had gone to a bigger college, it's likely he would have been a top 150 guy, top 100 guy. How often do they have 6'8" athletic guys who can hack it athletically? Not a whole lot. So that's why his potential's off the charts. I do like where his hands go, right? His hands are often on the inside. I think his feet could get there, right? He's athletic. This is a good job. He understands this guy put on a good spin move. I have to catch up, runs with him. So yeah, I mean, he's just super raw. But I like his footwork. I think he's going to be able to mirror guys really well. In the run game, your guess is as good as mine, man. Like, it's pretty impossible to tell based on this film alone what we can expect. Hard to say. I don't think he's going to be a plus in the run game as much. Him as like a pass protecting left tackle is really where his upside is. Because, again, just good luck getting around this guy. But yeah, the biggest thing is just syncing up all of his mechanics, because I think he seems pretty light on his feet, right? And he looks so skinny. Again, this is when he's like probably 280. It's just because he's so huge that if he can actually bulk up, add some weight to his frame. Remember, he played, and this is from just like some random camp film and stuff. Remember, this is like he was a former tight end. So he's running routes and, he doesn't really look like an offensive lineman here. But add some weight, get him some technique, and just sync up all of his movements. Because like I said, he looks like kind of just like a gazelle, where he got a lot of the pieces that you want. He just has no idea how to use his hands and his feet together. He just seemingly wasn't really coached a whole lot in that regard. But yeah, I mean, hey, if things don't work out, and maybe if he's struggling with weight or something, maybe go tight end. See how that works. He'd be terrifying as a tight end. Yeah, look at those arms too. He's got a pretty long wingspan. So again, you focus on his ability to punch. There's a good rep. The aspect ratio is not me, by the way. This is just the source footage. So yeah, good footwork. He's able to mirror really well. Yeah. I mean, he posted a shuttle time of 4.93, which at 6'8", 285, that's really good. That's really solid. I think we already saw that clip. I don't know what this drill is, but he's pretty good at it. This is just the most stretched out video I've ever seen. And that's kind of it. That's it for his film. Very, very sparse film to go off of. But yeah, I mean, again, there's a lot of things he needs to improve on. He has good balance. He doesn't lunge a whole lot, which I do like. He's not like leaning into guys. He's just more accepting guys, right? But you never really saw him pancaking guys because he isn't, really driving. He doesn't have that initial pop with his hands that you would like to see. And there's just a lot of things that he needs to put together. So add some strength, get a redshirt year in him. He is the most surefire. If I was to come up with a list of guys who are for sure going to redshirt this year, he's got to be at the top of the list, right? I don't think there's any way he would crack the 2 deep. He's exactly like Jeff Percy, which was my comp for him. Just a massively large former tight end who's converting into a tackle. Oozes upside, right? Just massive, massive upside at the tackle position, but just not a whole lot of experience there. Just need to build up that experience, and then you go from there. And that's kind of it. All right, I'm going to talk about Klingscale here. Kind of going to go off script here, because I guess final thing for Bounds, wait until 2023, right? It'll be a couple years before you see anything with him. Wait until 2023. Get a red shirt in him. Get him another year as a redshirt sophomore. He should start propping up, right? Propping up as that redshirt sophomore. Get into the 2 deep, get some rotational time, and then you'll really know what you have with him. But I like it, right? It makes sense because you go for a couple guys like El Hadi, pretty high floor overall, and a pretty high ceiling, I think, for him. Raheem Anderson and Greg Crippen, 2 additional early enrollees that have really, really high floors at the interior. And then, when you take 3 guys like that have relatively high floors, you can take a chance on a guy with a high ceiling. And that's what he's got. So I like it. You take a shot on one of these guys once in a while, because sure, it won't work out for all of them, but if you hit big, right? A 6'8", 320, 330 pound athletic tackle, NFL's gonna be calling that guy's name if he can get up there. So yeah, just a wait and see with him. And with that, that's our last early enrollee. So I've covered every single early enrollee. All right, so Steve Klingscale. All right, let me just pull up a Mason Brew article on Steve Klingscale. Let's see where this would be. Yeah, there we go. My boy John Simmons. Oh, this doesn't really show a picture. Let me just, whatever. All right, Klingscale. Let me switch this. Okay. Klingscale. Michigan hired Steve Klingscale from Kentucky, cornerback coach, pass game coordinator, was formally announced today, 3-year deal. He has chance to be promoted to co-defensive coordinator in year 2 of his deal. So who is he? What are our expectations for this year and the future? How do we feel about it? So he's been at Kentucky since 2016, promoted pass game coordinator in 2021. Before that, he was DB's coach at Cincy for 3 years. He was a guy that a lot of people were mentioning before Linguist was hired. A name mentioned before even Bob Shoop was brought in when Chris Partridge left. So he's a guy who Michigan has targeted and at least kicked the tires on a bit before. Hard to say exactly what Michigan will run with him in the fold, right? Kentucky ran cover 2 in the past years. They did shift to cover 3 in trips and some other scenarios. The main thing, though, when you look at Klingscale, 4 Kentucky defensive backs were drafted over the last 3 years, okay? 4 DBs drafted in the last 3 years. No other member of Kentucky secondary was sent to the NFL since 2012, all right? So he was brought on in 2016. In the past 3 years alone, 4 Kentucky defensive backs are in the pros. So that shows something, right? That shows both recruitment, because he's been around since 2016, so he at least had a hand bringing those guys in. And actually, let me do that. Let me bring up Steve Klingscale 247, and you can see the different guys that he actually brought in. There you go. So yeah, this guy Yusuf Corker, another guy who's coming back in his for 2021 season, that is very likely to be drafted as well. All right, so that shows ability to recruit and identify talent, right? Because they can't get all the top guys, so you have to identify quite a bit of talent. For guys to actually go to the pros from a program like Kentucky, and development, right? He's been there since 2016, so that shows a lot in that regard as well. So his impact on recruiting, I mentioned the NFL bit, so that should only help, right? I sent these guys to the NFL. I know what it takes. And he can also probably say, hey, if you're worried about me taking off somewhere, I was at Kentucky for 5 years, right? And that's something that I want to do here at Michigan, right? It's kind of rare that a position coach is around for that long. So he can at least use that to his advantage. He's always been a force to be reckoned with in the Detroit area when it comes to recruiting. You know, you look at Justin Rogers, a guy Michigan was really going hard at for defensive tackle last year, top 60 overall recruit. Quan Mccall, another Oak Park guy, top 200 recruit, offensive guards. These are guys that you would expect Michigan to get, or at least be in the running for, and he stole out of Michigan at Kentucky. So that's really impressive to do that. Number of other 4-stars here, you can see that he was able to pull in as the primary recruiter as well. So not only does he bring good regional recruiting, but he also has some experience in Tennessee, which Michigan has a couple guys and had some interest that Mo Linguist had started as a part of that. And then finally about Klingscale, deep Ohio roots, right? Grew up in Youngstown, played and coached at Ashland for like 9-10 years. So, I mean, overall, it only 4 days after Linguist left, and you bring in a guy like Klingscale, and that's about the best you could do. Even if it was something that, that it's not the best time, this would have been a hire even before Linguist, or people would have been like on board with. So it's a great hire, and like I said, the speed in which Michigan made this hire is even better, because that's less time for those recruits to look around elsewhere, to kind of be in limbo. You're able to get that relationship started as early as possible and kind of make that transition period as short as possible because of how quickly they moved on that. So, I mean, it's a great hire. It's a great hire, and it made a bad situation into one that's now serviceable, and you have a really great guy that Michigan has targeted in the past, able to convince him to come over to Ann Arbor. So that's kind of it. That's all I got. Short one today. I know Tristan Bounds did not have a whole lot of film, but yeah, his upside's really, really huge. Klingscale is going to bring a lot to the team. The one other thing I'll say, final thing about Klingscale, it'll be interesting to see whether it benefits Michigan State or not. What I mean by that, the main people that Kentucky was going after were guys that were generally second banana to Michigan. And what I mean by that is Kentucky can't beat Michigan for most guys in state, right? Not always the case. You can beat a guy like Justin Rogers, Mccall. These are top 200 guys that Michigan likely kicked the tires on that Kentucky still won. But the vast majority of the guys that he's going to get are 3-stars, right? Maybe guys like DeAndre Buford or, Ernest Sanders. These are guys you generally see go to Michigan State, right? That next level down that Michigan State really targets. And it seemed like that's something that Klingscale was really able to tap into and take advantage of a lack of recruiting for Michigan State and really build that pipeline. So how does that work with Michigan, right? Michigan is not going to be taking a bunch of 3-stars out of Michigan, right? They'll take the top few and then look elsewhere. So this kind of opens the door for Michigan State to kind of recruit a little bit better because of his absence from Kentucky. Kentucky and Michigan State we're kind of competing for the same guys. Now you kind of have an opening where maybe Cincinnati will pick it up, right? There'll be other programs kind of on that same second tier level that will be able to pick up a lot of these 3-star guys out of the state of Michigan, but we'll see. It could potentially benefit Michigan State and leave an opening for Tucker to better recruit those kind of athletes from the state. So we'll see. Speed was key. Yeah, I'm with you, Von. And you're right. They couldn't have done better. This is the best possible scenario overall. And it's a great fit. Michigan should absolutely lock down the state of Michigan now. No excuse, right? I mean, you got Courtney Morgan, Mike Hart, Bellamy. Now you add a guy like Klingscale, it's going to be off the charts. All right, guys, that's it. Short one this time, I should say. But I'll have a poll out soon on the next level on the community tab on Twitter. So I'll tweet that out. Vote on who you guys want to see for next week. But otherwise, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Vaughn, appreciate you coming in. Let's Toast Media, thank you for stopping by as well. Short one this time, but we'll be back next week. All right, guys, go Blue.